Hey there, lovely. Welcome to the Radiantly Dressed podcast. Do you want to feel beautiful and confident and look put together in your clothes? Do you find yourself scrolling Pinterest looking for capsule wardrobes and outfit ideas? Do you walk into your closet hoping for an easy wardrobe solution only to feel frustrated and frumpy when nothing looks or feels like you want it to? Hey there, I'm Stacey. I'm a busy homeschooling mom juggling life, business, and struggling with autoimmune disease. Just like you, I felt overwhelmed and frustrated with my closet and wished I had an easy to put together wardrobe that reflected who I am on the inside, the woman that God is constantly refining. But I just could not figure out how to have easy mornings and authentic style until I found the power of color analysis and capsule wardrobes. In this podcast, you'll find how to wear and use your best colors, a proven framework to create an easy closet full of clothes you love, and how to do it all in a way that honors who God created you to be so that frumpy fashion doesn't get in the way of your faith and mission. So put in your favorite earrings, swipe on some lipstick, and let's get dressed. Hey there, sister. This is usually the part of the episode where I tell you what's going on, what the latest new thing is that we're doing. I tell you about a program or how you can get connected, but I am on maternity leave. So if you would like to connect with me, the team at Radiantly Dressed, work on your style, I have a couple different ways that you can join in even while I'm on maternity leave to get you moving forward in your personal style journey. Number one, please join the free Facebook community we have. It is wonderful. We have over 1,000 amazing members inside. That's at christianstylecommunity.com. Number two, if you're really struggling with your self-image and how you feel about yourself, and you're ready to learn to love what you see in the mirror and move forward confidently with your day in a style that suits you, then I invite you to join the Radiant by Design membership. It's only $7 a month. You will get all kinds of amazing course content, mindset work, biblical mindset work, and just really begin to learn who you are in God's eyes. And that is at radiantbydesigncollective.com. You can also get connected by following any of the links below this episode that will lead you to free affirmations, creating a free color palette, or any of the other courses, programs, and digital products that I offer. I can't wait to see the radiant woman that you'll become over the next few months. But we are here today. We are with Laura, who got the Style Star of the Month for August. We're in September. August. I can't keep track of these dates anymore. So right quick before we get started, do you want to share with them quickly how you got these 15 minutes?
Well, I guess I'm like a kid going to college for the first time, and I'm really excited. I love this group. I love how there's so much freedom and so much encouragement, and how you can, there's just so much information that everyone's willing to share on their own journeys. And to be honest, I've been in other groups before and not had this amount of encouragement and just information readily available. And so I've been so excited and watching how everybody's doing they're putting their outfits out there. And I guess I got overzealous and responded a lot. So that's how I got here today. So thank you, everyone. I really appreciate it, Stacey.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I tried to create this group to be just a really safe, inclusive space. And it's that way because of the members, right? I am just the facilitator. So thank you for saying that. They are all so wonderful and so lovely. And there's just so much information in there. So you just commented enough, posted enough. And I think you're the first person who's ever been a brand new member that got the Style Star. Usually it's people who've been in the group for a while. So it's very exciting to have you to win it since you're brand new. So this is a super bonus for you. Okay.
I was quite surprised.
Having said that, we're going to just jump right in. So what would you like help with today?
Okay, so my main thing is just trying to understand the essences and how to translate those into your outfit. So specifically, is there a formula for figuring out what your percentages are? And how does that translate into the outfit or into your hair, into your makeup, on the whole head to toe look?
Okay, so there's not really a formula. It's sort of an artistic ramble along the pathway, really. But once you've kind of given yourself some numbers, there is a way to look at how to apply it to your wardrobe that's a little more. It's still a little artistic, but it's a little bit more concrete than finding out your percentages. Really, it's about looking at what you need and what feels comfortable in the essences for you. So for example, I will use myself because it's always the easiest version to use. I have 3 style essences. Mine is natural, romantic, and gamine. And at this point, I honestly cannot tell you what the percentage is at this point, but I do know that natural is smaller. I think I gave it something like maybe 40, 40, 20. Does that have to do 100? Don't make me math in my head. I think I gave it something like 40, 40, 20.
Yeah, that makes 100.
And so it's really looking at, number one, are you looking at 2 essences? Are you looking at 3 essences? So there's that to discuss. So if you're looking at 2 essences, what I typically say is one dominant, or are they pretty evenly split? With 2 essences, I feel like it really just goes both ways. There's really no general perspective on that. But when you're looking at 2, I'll talk about them separately. When you're looking at 2 essences, you're looking at, is one dominant more than the other? And if it is dominant, you're just asking yourself, how dominant is it, right? Is it 55%? Is it 60%? Is it 80%? Like, and when you look at something like a big percentage like that, if it's like, say, oh, maybe one's 80 and one's 20, that 20% is kind of a splash on top. Whereas if you're looking at more of an even split, it's going to be something where you see them, you kind of need to disperse them throughout your body evenly, if that makes sense. With 3, it's really kind of the same process. You're asking yourself, is one of them dominant? Are 2 of them kind of evenly split and one is a minority? I would say that when you're doing percentages, if you have an essence that's less than 20%, it's maybe not an essence for you, actually. So that's sort of the lower limit for me on those. Does that help a little bit with the percentages? I know it's really like a kind of I'm like, oh, there's really just to figure it out. I don't know. Sorry. It's an exploratory process. There isn't really I wish there was a concrete way to do it, but there's really not.
I think I'm in a process right now of learning that God's way tends to be a very line upon line, precept upon precept, here a little, there a little, very slow process of getting to know him, getting to know you and who you are in him. And I come from a scientific background, and so I'm like looking for the formula to make it everything easy. And so I guess that's what I have to get used to.
It's funny because I tend to be very logical. And so I want things to like fit into a box. And so honestly, when I'm teaching and I'm creating things and I'm sharing things with people, I'm trying to figure out, how can I strip this big thing out into like the most logical version that I can. So I understand and appreciate that. So as far as translating it into your outfits, I said this was a little more specific, but it's probably not more specific at all. It has to do, and what you can do is really, you can go back and look at some of the favorite things that you've worn in the past, in the present. I don't think our essences really change a whole lot, honestly. I think sometimes our percentages changes, but I feel like it's just like kind of with color, it's being carried through, even if we don't really see it. And so you can go back and you can look at prior outfits that you wore, and everything from your shoes to the accessories that you choose to the way you wear your hair or the type of makeup that you choose. It's all going to appear in different ways, but it's going to be fairly consistent, if that makes sense. For example, again, I said that I have 3 essences: natural, romantic, and gamine. The natural, I don't pull as much because I need so much contrast from the gamine that it's hard to put them together at times. But one of the areas where I definitely the natural has to come out is in my makeup. I can't wear a lot of high contrast makeup. I look kind of silly for the most part. And then also in my fabric types and how my fabric lays, those are 2 areas where the natural essence comes into play. And having said that, it's an exploratory process about finding where you want those splashes to come out in your outfit, but it will be consistent over time. Like you're not going to wake up one day and be like, I'm going to go with a full dramatic face today when you're used to wearing a natural face. It's we tend to gravitate to them in the same places. And so for me, like the romantic comes out a lot in textures. I don't wear it in like silhouettes. I don't like my clothes to be like very curvy and form-fitting for the most part. Maybe a splash, but not much. But in things like the sparkle here and the sequins there, things like that is where that tends to come out. And so, so honestly, it's going to be an assessment of going back through what you can find that you really love and asking yourself, what essence does this if it's like, I really love this shirt, what essences am I seeing in this shirt? Are these the essences that I want to apply when I'm choosing shirts? Are these the essences I want to apply in my fabric choices and my jewelry choices and how I wear my hair, style my hair, things like that.
Okay, so just a real quick question. If I find a shirt, I go to the Facebook and just ask, what essence does this shirt look like? Or if I'm kind of confused on that, is that something I can resource I can use?
You can ask, because there are several people in there who have gone through the process and are familiar with the process also. Yeah, you can definitely come ask the Facebook group. Yeah, that's definitely for sure.
Excellent.
Also, yeah, and this is essences is one of those things that unfortunately, like as far as deep diving, it is something that I tend to keep in the courses, but I'm always happy to answer the questions here with you guys as best as I can. So that's kind of one of the things too.
Okay, perfect. And so you're eventually I'm going to go through your course. I'm saving up money for it right now. We got a lot of house projects going on, so budgeting. But yeah, I'm really excited about this whole program. And like I said, I want to say that the freedom here of being able to explore. So again, what I'm hearing from you is that the essence isn't really even so much about deep diving, but just like listening to yourself and just building yourself from your own body. So like yesterday, I got a lot of feedback about like just clothing my line and not necessarily like overthinking it.
Right. It really is. It's essence is what I love about essence is the same thing that I love about color, and that it's God created, right? It's how he's built us. And when we talk about Kibbe too, the way I talk about Kibbe usually is the same kind of conversation. It's how God has built us very specifically. And then it's learning those things about ourselves so that we can choose clothing that is in alignment with that. So, just like, we don't go to the beach and we expect to see a cactus for the most part. There might be a beach with a cactus somewhere. I don't know. But you don't go to the beach and expect to see a cactus, right? And so we're really just trying to get to the same level of cohesiveness and authenticity in our clothing. And yeah, it is just learning. It's about learning ourselves for sure. For sure.
It's interesting too, because I'm 55 now, so I feel like I'm really late to the game, but it's still exciting. Better late than never.
No, it's fun. It's never too late to learn who you are. And I feel like, honestly, style becomes more of a learning thing the older that we get, because when you're 25, you can kind of wear anything, get away with it. Nobody cares. You're young and carefree, and you can wear things that when you're 40, 45, 50, 55, it just doesn't hit the same way.
Right.
You can't, it's about. And I think as we get older, we're all learning ourselves more and becoming more authentic in alignment with who God created us to be. That great sanctification process, really.
That's wonderful. Well, thank you so much I think we're at the 15-minute mark, but
I was a little bit late, so you've got like 2 or 3 minutes actually.
Yeah, I think just one last thing I was going to say for me, because I was overthinking, I know that I've always gravitated to natural stuff. I've always really felt comfortable in natural looks, but I think I was always looking at that flamboyant natural and trying to fit the boxiness onto me. And then just realizing as I went back and started reading everything in the So My Kibbe about just the shapes and stuff, realizing, oh, those are the shoes I naturally gravitate. Oh, I naturally wear makeup that's natural, like what you were saying, with not a lot of eye and maybe a bolder lip, but that's it. Oh. And yeah, so I guess I'm realizing I'm naturally in that place. So for me, I guess my final thing is to figure out whether I'm 2 essences or 3. And I may just be 2.
What are you thinking? What are your thoughts? I'll tell you.
Well, I definitely know I'm natural.
It's a little harder for me, but I'm just getting to know you, but I'll do my best with my intuition on this one.
Okay.
Natural for sure, right? Yeah.
Okay, I will say I know for sure I'm quite dominant and natural, but I also like a little bit more contrast. Okay. And I like a lot of lush textures and like tapestry and those kinds of things. As like I had a beautiful pair of tapestry shoes that I absolutely love, so I wouldn't wear a whole tapestry jacket, but I like it in like a purse. I also like my stuff smaller. So like if I don't like a big baggy purse, I like a small boxy purse, or, like a crossbody. So I'm wondering, is that a gamine thing? Is that I'm definitely not ingenue, because I can't do polka dots and ruffles and anything something like that.
Oh, I'm going to erase that where I wrote that one down. It's a possibility.
Did you really?
Yeah, because the small scale is an ingenue thing. But in ingenue also, I think I've talked about this a little bit, but the essences typically have color families that kind of go with them too. So it's something else to kind of look at. But they also have shapes and patterns that tend to be more at home. The scale of the patterns, specifically. When you talked about lush, though, lush is usually a word that I stick to romantic, because you're getting large scale prints in that area, but they're round. A lot of the times they're round with soft edges. Like if you think about a watercolor, like a bold watercolor print would be something you might find in the romantic essence. And so I wrote down natural. I wrote gamine. You said boxy, which that is the gamine side coming out. Gamine is high contrast in the colors as well. The shapes that you see for that are going to be more square, triangular. There are 3 of the essences that are more high contrast, and those would be dramatic, gamine, and romantic out of the whole bunch. The other ones are a little bit lower in contrast, if that helps you kind of think about that a little bit. Natural, romantic, and gamine. Yeah.
Well, I know I like to lean more, like, say, towards a mule than to a kitten heel, which I would think of a kitten heel as being romantic, maybe.
Yeah, definitely that would be a romantic thing. But again, when you are looking at combining them, it's about where that's showing up for you specifically.
Okay.
Right? Because a kitten heel, depending on how the shoe is styled, could also be classic.
Okay.
Depending on, is it a kitten heel with in purple, pink, red colors with a metallic finish? Obviously that's like a really specific shoe. That one's going to have really strong, like, romantic vibes, whereas a kitten heel in a black or tan leather with very sedate, classic, timeless styling is going to be in that classic area. And so it's not like you can just take one thing and just say it definitely belongs in this category. It could go in a couple different ways depending on how it's overall styled. And I like to talk about shoes when it comes to essences, because you often see mixtures of essences in a shoe, like a Birkenstock, for example. The frame of the shoe is very natural, right? It's got that big boxy sole.
Yeah, I can't do it though.
They're natural. But if you look at their full line, you'll see that sometimes they bring in other elements. Like there are some patterns that have really small, like ditzy florals. That would be that ingenue on top of that natural shoe. You have some that are metallics or suede, which would be those romantic elements on top of that natural shoe. And so when you look at shoes, you can kind of see how they mix the elements, the essences together in a way that kind of helps.
So do you think it would be a good idea this early in the process just to focus on the top 2 that I can find and maybe wait on that third one?
I would, because finding that third one, especially if it's not like an in-your-face obvious one, can actually be something like I can tell you that when we're in the intensive, we sometimes spend weeks going back to essences. So yeah, it's not, if you feel really stuck on the third one, I would focus on the first one for sure, and like giving it a percentage so you kind of know, and then nailing down the second one, because if that third one, it may be affected by how the other ones are playing out.
Okay. So I think I'm going to leave here kind of focusing on finding out more about romantic.
Yeah, I would, because you said tapestry and you said lush, and the square shaping stuff, it kind of throws me for a bit, but yeah, I would focus on that and just kind of explore it and see if it's something that you think could possibly be. There is a resource. It's called Truth is Beauty, is the name of the website, and she has the best content on essences that you will find. And she's put together some Pinterest boards that combine the essence blends. And so you can go there and look for those.
Okay, excellent.
It'll help you see how they come together and be like, oh, that's not me at all. Or, oh, I totally see myself more in this. Yeah, check out her boards because she's got some good stuff.
Okay, excellent. All right, well, thank you so much, Stacey. It's really a pleasure to meet you, and just
thank you.
I love what you're doing, and I love your group that you've gathered together. They're awesome. I just want to say the word loving kindness that describes God. That's what I see in that group is loving kindness. So,
thank you. you so much. It is all due to them for sure. Like I am giving all the glory to who they are and what they've created. So thank you so much. And as we wrap up here, if you want to get 15 minutes with me to ask me any of your style questions that you have, all you have to do is be the person with the top engagement. I've never figured out a good way to say this. The person with the top engagement for the month. And that includes your post and your comments and your likes. I do not think that Facebook rates it on posts versus comments. I think it's just across the board. The person who engages the most, interacts the most, gets 15 minutes. And maybe it's going to be you next month. So thank you all so much. Y'all have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you next time.
Hey there, gorgeous. Before you go, if this episode inspired you and helped you to feel more confident, I'd love for you to leave me a written review on Apple Podcasts. Second, hop on over and join the free Facebook group at christianstylecommunity.com, where you'll find Jesus-loving women just like yourself learning about style and building a dream wardrobe. Get dressed, be radiant.